Hey, Carl, are you there? I was just wondering if you and I could talk for a little bit. I don't mind if we're just exchanging text messages, so is now a good time to talk?
Oh, hey Mom. Yeah, I guess that you and I can't talk right now, but I can only text at the moment. Sorry about that. But anyways, I don't have any work tomorrow, so I don't mind if we talk. What is it that you wanted to talk about?
I just wanted to double check with you that Susan wasn't going to go back to her parents' house to have her baby, right?
I don't think that she was going to do anything like that. But do you mind if I ask what makes you think she was going to?
Well, it's just I'm actually staying at a hotel kind of near where Susan's parents live. I'm here for work, but I've been staying here since yesterday. I'm basically just up the street from their house if I've got the one that I'm thinking of. You said that Susan's family owns a lot of cats, right?
Yeah, that's right. I think just about everyone in town knows their house is the one with all the cats out in front of it. And whenever I've gone to go and visit them, I'm always having to watch my step to make sure that I'm not stepping on any tails or anything at all.
I see. Well, the reason I wanted to know all of this was because I'm quite sure that I saw Susan actually stealing a bit of the cat food for herself.
Right? What do you mean she was stealing the cat food for herself? I'm not sure I understand.
Well, then how do you think I feel? I was so shocked that I could hardly move. I was going to call out to her, but then I thought better of it. But that was the first time that I'd ever seen a person eat cat food so casually. And anyways, that's why I wanted to know if you had any idea what she might have been doing. Did you know that this was something she does?
Mom, this is all a really wild story and all that, but I already told you that Susan hasn't even gone home. For the past 2 weeks, she's been in the hospital, actually.
Wait, you're telling me that Susan is in the hospital? And she's been there for that long? But what happened?
Well, we were going to tell you if things got any worse or serious, but Susan's just been really nervous about any complications when it comes to the baby. And she had been feeling extra queasy and uneasy lately, so she decided to check herself into the hospital.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't think that I knew any of that.
Well, it really is okay since now she's basically feeling better. I think she is probably going to be able to leave any day now. But anyways, the hospital with the maternity ward that Susan wants to give birth at is just a 10-minute drive away from our house. So I don't really think that Susan even has a reason. Why should you go all the way to her parents to have the baby?
I see. Well, then if the person I saw eating cat food wasn't actually Susan, I suppose we can say that that is a good thing. But given what else is going on, I just hope that she feels okay and the pregnancy goes along smoothly.
I think everything should be okay. Actually, it's kind of funny considering that Susan's little sister Kathy is also pregnant.
Wait a second, did I meet Kathy at yours and Susan's wedding? You know, I thought that the two of them looked so similar, I was sure that they must have been twins.
Yeah, they do look quite similar. I imagine that you probably are thinking of the right person that you met on my wedding day.
Yeah, but what about Kathy? Are you saying she's gone back home to have her baby?
Yeah, she has gone back to her parents. Although that actually wasn't the original plan for how she wanted to do this.
Oh, really? And what do you mean by that?
Well, Kathy was going to do what Susan is doing and give birth at a hospital. But then, not that long ago, her husband had to leave on some kind of last-minute business trip or something like that. I guess he was going to go abroad for a long time and they didn't know when he was going to be able to come back. So that's when Kathy asked her parents if she could move back in with them. Kathy and her husband even canceled the lease on their apartment. The thing is, though, that Kathy didn't even realize she was pregnant. She had no idea about that until her husband only had about a week up until he had to leave for his assignment.
Oh, wow, that's so much. The poor thing. And finding out that his wife was pregnant so close to his trip still wasn't enough to get her husband out of having to do it? But to go and do something like cancel your own lease, that basically leaves you with no other place to live at all.
I know. But apparently both of her husband's parents have passed away. So really, she only had one place that she could go to live. Of course, Susan did think about reaching out to Kathy and asking if she wanted to come and stay with us for a while. But then all the things with Susan's pregnancy started acting up, and so we agreed to scrap that plan.
And so that's why Kathy ended up having to go all the way back to her parents to have her baby then?
Yeah, pretty much. I know it's a long story, but that's basically what happened. Yeah.
But then I still feel like I'm not getting the whole picture. Is there something wrong with having to go back to your parents' place to give birth?
Well, the thing is that Susan and Kathy's dad is still around, but their mom isn't. Not only that, but their dad actually ended up marrying a woman in her mid-30s.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of something like that when it came to their family. I must have completely forgotten about it until now, though.
Right, well, as I'm sure you might be able to imagine, Kathy and Susan do not get along great with their stepmother. Apparently they tried to meet her a couple of times, and even all lived together before we were married, but it just wasn't working out. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if what you say with the cat food might have had something to do with that.
You really think so? Wow, I had no idea that all of this was going on.
Well, if you want, I guess I can try talking to Susan and see if she can't get a hold of Kathy to make sure that everything's okay.
Oh, no, you don't have to go and do something like that for me.
Are you sure? Because it really wouldn't be a big deal at all.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's not what I meant. I just meant that I actually have Kathy's number is all.
Oh, really? You do? I didn't know that you and Kathy had exchanged phone numbers.
I think we must have exchanged our numbers at your wedding, but I don't think we've sent a single message to each other or anything like that.
Great, well, yeah, then I guess if you're worried about Kathy, it might be better for you to reach out to her given that you're both so physically close. But please, let me know if you find anything out. I want to make sure that everything is going okay over there.
Yes, of course. That won't be a problem.
Actually, maybe I'll distract Hillary, their stepmom, so that Kathy doesn't get into any more trouble if something else is going on. Hey there, Hillary. Are you there? This is Susan's husband, Carl. How have you been?
Oh, Carl! It's been ages since I last talked to you. How are you? I have to say, it's quite odd getting a message from you like this.
I know, I'm sorry to be messaging you out of the blue like this, but I just wanted to ask you something. I heard that Susan's sister Kathy ended up going back to your house to give birth. Is that true? The only reason I'm asking is that, well, as Susan's husband, I just think I should be checking on people more from time to time, you know?
Oh, well, aren't you just such a sweet man? I guess that you must be the person who Kathy's texting right now, too, then.
Well, it's just that Susan really isn't feeling well at all, and she asked me to check on you both.
Oh, did she know? Well, isn't that just so thoughtful of her?
Yeah, I thought so. Anyways, how's Kathy doing? Of course, I'm also texting her right now anyways, but I just wanted to know how you think she's doing.
Well, she seems to be always complaining about feeling queasy and stuff like that. I tell her that she needs to be trying to move her body more. I'll give her little errands to do so that she is getting up and moving a bit more throughout the day, but I really don't think that she's doing all that bad.
Oh, I see. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you think Kathy is basically doing fine then.
Carl, are you there? It was much worse than I thought. Kathy is in some serious trouble. We have to get her out of that house and into a hospital right away. Apparently Hillary is still in her room right now, so I need you to help stall just a little longer.
Got it. Hey, Hillary, I actually kind of wanted to ask you about something else, if that's okay.
Oh, did you know? Well, what's on your mind? You can ask me whatever you want, you know.
I actually just wanted to let you know that Susan wasn't feeling great with a bunch of pregnancy stuff going on either. She ended up checking herself into a hospital.
Oh, really? Things were that bad? Just what was it that made her want to go and do something like that?
I guess that the pregnancy symptoms were getting to be a bit much for her. She was dizzy and queasy and could barely function. I was actually surprised that things had gotten as bad as they did for her.
I see. And just what did you do to manage that, huh?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you mean. I didn't do anything but take her to the hospital, you know.
That isn't what I'm talking about. Right now, you were trying to tell me that you made your wife's symptoms so bad that she had to go into the hospital, right?
What? No! Of course not. I would never try and do something like that on purpose. She just started feeling ill and it got worse, and so she went to the hospital.
Oh, is that it? Are you sure? Well, okay then.
Yeah, although I'm wondering, in light of all that, if this makes you change your mind on Kathy at all.
Change my mind about what? What could you possibly be referring to?
Well, okay. The truth is that I've heard from a good source that Kathy might not actually be really happy having to be there at home with you.
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? What are you getting at, Carl?
I just mean that if Kathy is complaining a lot about what she is feeling right now, then maybe you should try listening to her, right? Don't you think it might be good for you to take her to a hospital too?
Oh, please, don't be so overdramatic. I know that Kathy doesn't want or need that, but you can just reach out and ask her yourself if you don't believe me.
I see. Well, if that's the way that you're going to be about this, then I guess you leave us with no choice. We're going to be taking care of Kathy from now on.
What is that supposed to mean? Carl, what is going on here, huh? Where is Kathy? Why isn't she at home? I know that she can't have gotten very far by herself in her state, so I want to know what kind of trick you're trying to pull.
I'm afraid that's a secret. I can't tell you anything.
Excuse me? Do you think this is some kind of game or something like that?
Actually, let me ask you something. Your husband left for a business trip himself about 2 months ago, isn't that right? And while he was gone, that's when you turned against Kathy. You withheld food from her, verbally abused her, and made her do all kinds of chores for you. You were basically making her your servant while she was pregnant.
Will, I really don't have any idea at all what you're talking about, and I don't think that you do either.
Oh, really? Because I have proof of everything that I'm saying.
Hold on a second, you have proof? Just what do you mean by that?
I take it that you didn't know this since they were installed before you married Susan's father. But he had cameras installed to keep an eye on his cats, and we can see exactly the kind of things you were forcing Kathy to do on them.
What do you mean by that? This has got to be some kind of mistake.
It's not a mistake at all. And since we have this proof, you can bet that we're going to be sending it to your husband as well.
Wait, no, hold on. You can't do that. I mean, don't you know what's going to happen to me if you do?
That is entirely up to your husband. But I'm sure he'll think of something good for you.
Carl, are you there? You better pick up the phone right now. Did you really go and tell my husband about what you told me about? Because he told me he's already calling a lawyer to divorce me right now.
Oh, so I take it by that he's already back home then?
What do you mean about that, huh?
You mean you didn't hear? He ended his business trip early just to come and deal with all that has been going on in his absence. He even stopped by the hospital to see Kathy and make sure that she was doing okay. Last thing he said before leaving that he was going back home, though.
But then, that means he'd be coming home to divorce me, but I don't even have a job. He can't do this to me.
Actually, that reminds me. There is one more thing I want to ask you about.
What is it this time?
Well, it's just about Kathy. You see, she tells us that her husband left you a substantial amount of money that was meant to be spent on Kathy while she was there. It was to pay for things like food, utilities, even some hospital fees. But he gave that money directly to you, didn't he?
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, please. Kathy already told us about how you went on a huge shopping spree for yourself as soon as your husband was gone.
But, I mean, It was just a few things that I bought.
So then you admit that you used the money on yourself.
I mean, I don't want to answer any more of your questions.
It's fine. I'll tell your husband all about this as well, and he can deal with it.
No, please, you can't do this to me. I mean, please. Don't you think we have so much more to gain by working together rather than in opposition?
And just what do you mean by that?
I mean that if you help me out here, I can help you out in whatever way you need me to.
Yeah, that's gonna be a huge pass from me.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means I literally almost lost my lunch just reading that message. But I'll be sure to tell your husband all about what you just said to me as well. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go and throw up.